go.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to another edition of Split Decision MMA.
The original Split Decision MMA.
The original Split Decision MMA. Not the Russian one, not the new one that showed up on Twitter, like the original one.
The one in Russia is pretty cool, though. They always say the best form of flattery is
just straight hacking and copying?
Yeah. I mean, I like the head guy's Denisovich.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Just makes sense.
Yeah, and the other guy is Dodjevich.
Dodjevich
and
Denisovich. Josevich left the show. It's weird.
He wasn't Buelervich? Bulevenko.
Bulevenko. Yes.
Bulevenko.
Yes. Josevich Bulevenko. That was the full name. Anyway.
How you doing?
We are your My MMA News officially approved podcast, which should mean a lot to you, or at least My MMA News.
Yeah, coming from sunny California today for a little while.
It's actually sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually kind of nice out there. We'll see how
when's the last time we made it to June without hitting 90?
We'll see.
It's pretty weird.
We'll see.
You think so? I don't know.
We got
June's next week.
It's true.
Yeah.
Very true. We got all your news that is MMA. Yeah, we're gonna recap some fights. There are no fights this weekend, which is super, super sad.
You're gonna have to go to your local bar.
I don't know what to do with my life.
Yeah, go to your local bar.
I do.
Hang out. Hey, there's a liquor store down there by Bookies.
There you go.
Go hang out there, man. There'll be some fights.
Otherwise, we also have all your rumors and news for this week. Catch you up on everything that is MMA. Let's jump into that. Obviously, if you have been following this podcast, or at least been following some things on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever you get your social media for MMA.
Where you get your news? Where do you get your news?
If I get my news from My MMA News.
MyMMAnews.com.
But anyway, we have been talking about this for some time. We got Paulie and Artem going to be fighting at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 7, June 22nd, live on pay-per-view. These guys absolutely hate each other. We obviously, the weird strings of how they hate each other is because Artem was Conor McGregor's training partner and teammate.
And ball holder.
Paulie
ball
apparently
washer.
went over there to help Conor train to fight Floyd Mayweather in a boxing fight. It did not end well. There's apparently a bunch of footage that nobody's seen.
Yeah, there's like 15 minutes that we need to see.
Some sparring footage of whatever. Anyway, so now he's taking it out on him. You got Paulie showing up looking like he's a villain out of a Dick Tracy comic in his nice blue suit and hat. Just going crazy on Artem. He has cranked this thing up to 11. If you have not seen this press conference yet, find it on YouTube. I'm pretty sure we posted it. But you need to find it on YouTube. He actually tried to hit Artem with the microphone, like you were saying, like he's baptizing people. Just boom!
It looks like he is.
Boom!
He's baptizing fools.
Boom!
No, hey, Josh LaCour, we all hope he kills Artem. But on the other hand...
Do you hope Artem kills Paulie? Like, can it be one of those cool double knockouts where Shoney Carter just jumps into the ring, we didn't even know he was there, and he's like...
Yeah, like I was explaining to Dodge earlier, the thing that I hate about this fight, the way that Malignaggi's kind of pitted boxing against MMA... I don't, you know what I mean? I have to defend Artem, and I can't stand Artem. But I can't let him just be like, oh, MMA's a bunch of bitches. And it's not, really, because unless you're going to fight MMA, I don't think that you should be running your mouth like that. Because, I mean, in an MMA match,
yeah,
in that world,
he's saying
it's Artem all day.
He's saying he's putting Artem in a coffin, in a coma.
He's staying in the seas.
That tapping.
You're going to need crutches.
That tapping assures you're going to see the guy in a few months. We don't have those assurances in boxing. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. I mean, he even spit at Artem, missed completely, and hit Dave Feldman, the president of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, in the face.
Yeah. Gotta love that one.
Dave just sits there like, mew.
Yeah, you gotta know when they got backstage, he was like, really? No, I told you I was gonna spit. I did. I told you I was gonna spit. Because that guy's got no balls. No balls.
Yeah, this thing's getting pretty crazy. I'm excited to see this fight.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we've been talking about it for a while. I'm excited to see this fight. However, there may be one hang-up in this fight. According to crack reporter Adam Labar, who, by the way, used to work for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship and also used to work for World Bare Knuckle Fighting Federation and now works for Bare Knuckle.
Are you making?
No, I'm not making any of this up. There's no hat stuff.
Okay,
I'll put the hat on just for this theory. So for this theory, This crack reporter who has worked for 2 bare knuckle fighting organizations and now works for a third in the UK.
Stay in the realm of fact.
Who is in the UK, has been making some phone calls.
Allegedly, or he has made the phone call?
Has been making some phone calls.
Okay, we have credible sources on these phone calls.
According to the hat, has been making some phone calls to the Florida Athletic Commission saying, hey, I don't know if you guys allow bare knuckle, and maybe you should shut them down because I work for a competing company, and we don't want to make sure they have a big fight or anything.
Okay.
So the Florida Athletic Commission, now the hat comes off because this is actually what's happening.
Right. And said reporter even said that he had a conversation with them, right?
Yep.
But acted like he called them just wanting to, I heard some stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard some stuff. I heard some things. I heard something.
Says that in the state of Florida, boxing requires all fighters to wear some sort of glove.
You got to wrap it before you smash it, bro.
They require you to wear some sort of glove. It does not say that it has to be covered over the knuckles. It doesn't require the glove lurks a certain way or even whatever, but they have to wear some sort of glove. And they have, at their discretion, to approve all equipment, including gloves. However, they have said that the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship does have a glove that they have approved that will be leaving the knuckles exposed. Quick search, bare knuckle.
That's not it.
Quick search to bare knuckle. Quick Google search to bare knuckle boxing glove. This is what comes up.
That looks like if you want to turn your hand into a fleshlight.
This is not the glove they're using, by the way. It's not the glove they're using. I want to make that real clear. It's not the glove they're using. However, this glove right here is one that shows up if you quick Google bare knuckle boxing glove.
Also, if you Google knuckleless love glove. That's the good picture.
So I don't know what's happening yet. I have seen a prototype. Again, those are the air quotes for you just listening and then not actually watching. Prototype glove that apparently is going to go around the wrist to basically stop the boxer's fracture and around the palm, not covering the knuckles, but just basically it's almost like a hand wrap.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of these guys still get wraps, but they leave their knuckles bare, right?
Yeah, they still get wraps because they don't want the boxing fracture.
Right,
You don't want to bend your wrist as you go to punch somebody.
Right.
So allegedly they are designing a glove that will basically mimic that exact hand wrap. And then they could wrap it 1 or 2 times after and then call it a day. The Athletic Commission could approve that glove.
Maybe.
It's possible. They have 3 weeks to figure it out.
I'm
If
sure.
you got keyboard social justice warriors out there like Adam Lombard on this case, making sure they do everything legally and by the book and safe, who knows what could happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then you also got that thing too where they're like, a pile of money this high usually works.
Not this high.
Not this high.
Yeah. There we go. Just one more.
No. Well, if it's hundreds, if it's 50s.
Got it. Okay. So we'll see what happens. I'm still excited, and hopefully this fight goes down the way it is. I said they should just old school UFC this. And you know what? Oh yeah, Mr. Senator, you're not going to allow us to fight in this state? We're just going to pick up the whole event and move it right here.
Yeah.
That's happened before. UFC has moved an event on like 2 days' notice.
Well, not only that, but what did we see in the regionals? Did they fight on a yacht? Or no, they had weigh-ins on a yacht.
Yeah.
They fought on a battleship.
On a battleship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sail that sucker out. International waters.
Make it happen.
Serve everybody Kobayashi.
That's what you do. You have everybody show up to the arena in Florida and then be like, all right, now I just want to direct you to our actual arena. It's on this yacht over here.
Yeah.
Everyone just boards from where they were supposed to. Oh, we're not being here? Okay.
All right.
So, yeah. Got to be careful out there for those social justice warriors. Speaking of more boxing,
everywhere, dude.
Speaking of more boxing, Joe Riggs is now going to have to wait to make his professional boxing debut. Remember, Joe Riggs is 50-18-1 in MMA.
The one he got in an emergency room against Nick Diaz, right?
Is not in there.
Isn't that where they fought? They fought in the emergency room.
They fought in the hallways of the hospital. Yeah.
Well, I heard it went to multiple rooms.
I'm sure it did.
I'm gonna, after this show, I'm gonna pull up the link because the story's out there.
The story's great.
It's hilarious.
Anyway, he was scheduled to fight in his home state of Arizona against David Damore on Roy Jones Jr. Boxing Promotions at the Del Sol Amphitheater in Tucson. However, promotion announced during the weigh-ins that Damore was pulled from the bout and the whole fight was canceled. No reason was given. Joe Riggs is now going to have to wait to be able to fight. Inside information here that we know, if you follow Eric Cowell on Twitter, My MMA News on Twitter, which you should, he's always getting some really great breaking stories.
Good old Kowalskiewicz.
he's always getting some late breaking stories. He reported this like 3 days before they did, and was like, "Hey, are you going to tell anybody that Joe Riggs is not fighting?"
Yeah.
Like, nope. We're going to the weigh-ins.
Yeah, and I like how he
Going to the
says,
weigh-ins.
"Why not tell the people who paid to
Just tell them ahead of
see
time.
your
It's not a
shit?"
big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I was thinking after reading that. Were they really? I mean, do you think Joe Riggs' name was so big that they couldn't tell people he wasn't going to fight?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that Joe Riggs was that big
was
a
the
seller.
selling
I
point?
still think that there was more regional people that were on that card.
Yeah. Joe
That-
Riggs wasn't the selling point.
I'm not going to say he wasn't an addition.
Oh, for sure.
But I'm not saying you're going to lose a huge share of your tickets because
Riggs
Joe
not
Riggs.
on it? I'm not watching this.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see any other reason.
We talked about last week Sage Northcutt making his one championship debut.
Well, that's Humpty Dumpty, bro. They had to call in all the King's horses and all the King's men just to put Dumpty back together
Good
again.
old Sage Northcutt had a 9-hour surgery to repair 8 fractures in his face.
I still don't. Okay.
I mean, Dennis isn't a doctor,
No, I'm not. Not by any means.
but he wonders what all 9 hours were spent doing.
Right. Did they put a? I mean, it seems like they could have just put a big balloon in his mouth, blown it up, and then just popped everything back out in place, like a good dent
paper
doctor.
mache?
You know, like the dent doctor when he shows up. Yeah.
Fill it all up, they just fill it in with paper mache, get it all in there, and then pop it. And
Pop it,
shoop,
there you
we
go.
go. It's back together.
Why not?
He's fine. No big deal.
But I don't know. I don't know what they did on his face for 9 hours. I'm wanting to know if it was like they did a little bit, they waited to see how it took, did a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like a painting. They're like, I don't know. He's still crooked. He's still a little
Still
crooked.
straightening out a little
Manipulate that ocular. Manipulate the ocular.
Yeah, 9 hours. That's fair. That's scary, man. 8 fractures in his face.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make light of it at all. I mean, everybody could tell at the point of impact that it was bad.
He fell flat on his face.
Yeah. And again, I can't believe how many people were like, why didn't nobody tell him who he was fighting?
Seriously. Why
but
did
I mean-
nobody tell him who he was fighting?
But all the people saying it were the same people telling you that this fight was happening.
True. Some more one championship news. We have talked about this when it was announced, when it was signed. Sexy Yama's back.
Bringing Yama back. Yeah.
One is bringing Sexy Yama back.
Yeah. Nah, we got to drop sexy. You just got to do Yama if we're going to stay in the
Are you telling
beat.
me that is not Sexy Yama?
I don't know. Not me, dude.
Man. Yoshihiro Akiyama, a.k.a. Sexy Yama, will be, after 3 years away from competition, making his one championship debut June 15th in Shanghai at One Championship 97, the legendary quest. Remember, you can get these on Bleacher Report Live as well as TNT later. So if you want to see Sexy Yama come back, which everybody wants to see Sexy Yama come back, you got to check it out.
It might be just one of those things where you should have just kept the old Yama in your head.
You still don't think he's Sexy Yama?
Oh, I'm just saying. I mean, he could end up being 14-7, 14-8, BJ Penn. You know, I'm just saying.
All right. I mean, it's 3 years off. It is some time. He is 43.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting. That's yeah. Anyway, check out Bleacher Report Live, and then of course, the last little bit of one championship news: Miesha Tate going on the offensive. Last week we kind of mentioned this here that
Is it going on the offensive if all you're doing is correcting people?
all right, I'll give you that. Let's say correcting some wrongs. Is that better?
Yeah.
You want that as a better statement?
Yeah.
So last week we talked about how Sage Northcutt obviously lost. We just talked about his 9-hour surgery and
It's
the
all
8 fractures
bad.
in his face. However, Deadspin. I don't know if you is it Deadspin, right? Yeah, Deadspin. I don't know if you anybody follows Deadspin. It's an internet.
And the masses said, who?
Internet's news
Who?
webpage decided to headline their article saying that Sage Northcutt was knocked out in the minor league MMA organization. A lot of fans, obviously One Championship fans and MMA fans in general, took offense to this, saying, Deadspin, what are you talking about minor leagues? One Championship is actually a pretty big organization. Miesha Tate, who has her own radio show on Sirius
Do you even
XM.
MMA, bro? Do you even MMA?
No, they just UFC.
They just UFC.
She has her own show on Sirius XM. She went to and said, to say Definitely not a minor league. It's not a very well known in the United States. However, I think that is definitely changing. To say minor league,
Is this live?
No.
Okay.
To say minor league, I mean, we do have to draw comparisons. Right now, one championship is 3-1 in our favor. If you want to talk about the athlete trading, very true.
True.
Very true. She said, if you want to talk about minor league, the athletes there are far from minor league. We have 130 world champions on our roster, and they are badass. I don't know what else to say. They need to watch it. If you think it's a minor league, if you want to be entertained, watch one championship. They have a 70% finish rate, 40% average more than the United States market. Tune in, and your mind will change very, very quickly. We're already fans of one.
Right.
We definitely don't think it's a minor league.
Yeah, but
I said the same thing when I read this. I got sent the link, and I was like, and that was the first thing I wasn't even paying attention to the article at first because someone just sent it to me. And I was like, yeah, Sage North Carolina. Minor league? What the bullshit is that? Who's this hack talking about minor league?
Yeah, but I mean, on his side though, he got Miesha Tate to respond to him. You know what I mean? If you can get in a verbal volley, you can get your foot in the door. Even if they're telling you to leave, you can be like, but wait a minute. You responded.
That's right. We may be the worst podcast you ever heard, but you heard of us.
There you go. That's right. And next time you'll check your shoes before you walk in and get rid of us, maybe. Something. Turn on your net nanny. That way this don't come through.
Moving on from there, the Nevada State Athletic Commission has decided to play a little ball with the UFC. They're reporting, the ESPN is reporting that the governing body in combat sports has now reduced the suspensions of Khabib Nurmagomedov teammates Abu Akbar Nurmagomedov and Zubara Tukhugov by 35 days. They were handed a year-long suspension for their post-fight brawl at UFC 229 last October. So basically, what does the 35 days mean? Well, that means that Khabib, who said he would not fight and not return to action until his training partners' suspensions were released or reduced. Now this allows them all to be able to fight at UFC 242 September 7th in Abu Dhabi.
So we now know that the Nevada State Athletic Commission has no bulls. They are ran by the UFC.
They said that the request for the lighter sentence from the team,
in my opinion,
was fair and equitable.
Fair and equitable.
So they were given only the 9-month suspension. They were hit with the fines, and that they also now have 10 hours of community service.
There we go. Bingo. Fair and equitable.
Yep.
They paid us a stack of money.
The fines they already were going to be assessed. Not a new stack.
Stack of money.
Not a new stack. Same stack. Same stack they had last
But the stack of money got turned in faster.
Yeah, so you got to pay it now within 8 months instead of a year.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So what do you think? Do you think we see Khabib Nurmagomedov fight by September?
Yeah, I thought the suspensions were bullshit anyway. I understand getting Conor and Khabib, but everybody else who was involved was just caught up, in the commotion. Like the poor guy who saved Conor, and then he's
banned from buying tickets.
He's banned from buying tickets.
It's because he was a fan who jumped into the cage.
But he saved Conor McGregor. I don't remember.
That story's great. If you could find that story, he's talking about, I think DC mentions it first, and then there's a story where they actually found this guy.
Yeah.
He had jumped in the octagon to save Conor McGregor from
and he's literally 86th.
Yeah, he's no longer allowed to buy UFC tickets.
Yeah.
Which I think is hilarious.
Wow.
Moving on from there, UFC has announced a new Hall of Fame entrant.
Okay.
Rashad Evans. Sugar Rashad Evans.
In the modern wing.
In the modern wing.
So when we take the virtual tour.
Yeah. You can take the tour into the wing and you can kind of look things over.
Yeah, what's the first thing you're going to do?
I'm going to try to grab that belt and run. Fine. Try to run out. Last time I was at a Hall of Fame / UFC thing display was at the California State Fair probably 8 years ago.
Oh, when they had the semi.
They had the semi.
Okay.
Yeah, went up there. They had 2 semi trucks that were pushed together, and they had a bunch of memorabilia in it.
Right,
it's called the UFC Experience. You could go see all this stuff. They had a couple fighters out there signing shit, and they had an octagon out there that you could go look at and step in and look at and line stuff. So I remember going in there. They had a UFC belt there. I picked it up. Number one, it's heavy.
Yeah.
A lot heavier than you think. I mean, it is 8 pounds of gold or whatever the hell they call it.
Uh-huh.
I tried to take it, or at least try to walk away for a better picture. It was attached to a steel braided cable.
Probably because it was 8 pounds of gold.
Yeah, I couldn't get very far.
Yeah. I wonder why.
But they had like
Probably got a low jack on it too.
they had like Chuck Liddell's
And a paint cartridge that explodes once you get 50 feet from the trailer.
Oh no! They had like Chuck Liddell's like Iceman shorts in there back in the day. Randy Couture's gloves in there. They had you could see the difference between Demetrius Johnson's gloves and Brock Lesnar's gloves because at the time he had the largest hands in the UFC.
Right. Which ended up being taken by Shane Carwin, right?
Yeah, just he was one size bigger.
Yep.
But still, he wore like a triple X or a quad X glove. That's just nuts. They had the UFC, brand new UFC game that was there that you could play against people and stuff. They had a bunch of cool stuff. And I always thought, man, this would be cool if it was an actual building where they would have an actual Hall of Fame. Well, allegedly, they might be adding this to the campus, the Performance Institute, right? In the meantime, yeah, you got to Oculus Rift this sort of thing and just pretend you're in it and try to steal stuff that's not actually there. How do you feel about Rashad Evans getting added to the Hall of Fame?
Oh, I don't.
Do we feel like
it's going to be like baseball and football, where you don't think somebody deserves it at this point, but then the overall comparison to people after them, then you're like, yeah, he kind of was, you know. Like right now, I feel
he
like...
He was light heavyweight champion from 2008 to 2009. He was the Ultimate Fighter Season 2 winner, and he won 14 fights in the UFC. Does that say to you Hall of Fame?
I mean, not when you say it like that. But, I mean, they're just trying to... I don't know. Would you say he was part of the building?
I mean, that's why they say modern, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Let's see what else. Let's see if there's anything else on here.
I would have to see everybody involved, the criteria.
He got knockout of the year. He lost his last 5 bouts.
So if you win a tough, that you're going to get into
automatically you got to be put in. I mean, he went on a pretty good streak there for a while.
Oh, yeah.
He did defend. Let's see.
And he was a well-known name. The people that didn't even know the sport knew Rashad Evans.
This is the one I don't like. Won the championship against Forrest Griffin, immediately lost the belt in the next fight, never won it again.
Right. Yeah, I mean...
I don't know. I again...
Because even in his win streak, it wasn't a heavy field that he fought in.
Light heavyweight?
Yeah. At the time.
A lot, like I said. I want to see at what point are they making these decisions, like you talked about before. Where do we start...
once they're in,
you feel it's too soon?
Can they be pushed out? By
like
other
BJ
people?
Penn, man, you're starting to like make me want to take you out of the Hall of Fame. You had a Hall of Fame time, but you didn't know when to stop.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I think Jens Pulver deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and he's not, and he didn't know when to stop. I think Frank Shamrock should be in the Hall of Fame. He was their middleweight champion for years.
Frank and Ken?
I know Ken's already in it, isn't he?
I don't know. That's what I mean.
Well, Frank for sure.
We don't have any set place. There's no. I don't have a set list to go and look at. I feel
like it's like who's friends with Dana today?
Yeah,
you're in the Hall of Fame.
Who's feeling good? Yeah, like I just watched the whole Ken Shamrock Lions Den about how
I was going to watch that. It's queued up.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
I'll check it out.
I didn't realize he had such a high pitched voice. I expected to see Dan. I didn't see Dan in there. I don't know.
And the last little bit of story before we go into our recaps today. UFC's in the weed business, man.
CBD.
Weed business.
CBD.
Weed, man. UFC weed. UFC has signed a partnership deal with Aurora Cannabis, Inc.
The Diaz brothers part owners?
No,
Are you sure?
This is an Edmonton-based cannabis producer that is now going to be working with the UFCs and the athletes for clinical studies involving pain management, inflammation, injury, exercise recovery, and mental well-being.
Oh, my face hurts. Take this.
Yeah, let me know how that works out for you. Yes, it is going to be for cannabidiol or CBD, a wellness-oriented cannabis compound being used in everything from coffee to bath bombs. They're basically saying, after we've already talked about this, right? They stopped testing for CBD. It's no longer on their radar. Not an issue for them to have as long as it's not the day of the fight. All the research is going to be conducted at the UFC Performance Institute in Las Vegas.
I just smoked some CBD grass, and I'm going to say grass because there was no THC in it.
Well, yeah, see...
It was
marijuana has THC, which gets you high,
right,
and CBD, which just makes you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. I don't know how I felt.
Yeah,
I wasn't high,
right,
but I was just like,
feel loose.
Yeah,
relaxed.
Yeah, I felt relaxed.
Definitely not a high. It is more of a relax.
No, not at all.
If you have sore muscles, you have all these kind of things. It does help with recovery. It's supposed to like everything down. Yeah,
but it was quite a bit harsher than what I've heard about weed.
So yeah, CBD and UFC together because of Aurora.
All right, let's keep it down to 3 letters in everything that you do.
PFL 13, aka PFL 3 2019. 3 2019.
No. May 23rd was PFL 2.
Oh, 2 2019. PFL 2 2019, right?
Okay, I guess.
/ PFL 13 / PFL Palmer versus Gilpin happened yesterday. Happened yesterday.
I feel like they're running like a secret lottery, and if you got to like match your numbers and someone's winning something.
Yeah. We got to see the knockout flying knee heard around the world today. They are just cranking out that video.
It's all over.
In GIFs, in highlight reels, on Twitter.
That's what I would do.
Instagram.
Every hour on the hour.
I mean,
did you see this knee?
10-second flying knee on the prelims on ESPN2. Movalid Khabibulov over Damian Jackson.
Khabibulov.
Lance Palmer did get his win over Alex Gilpin, and people are saying Lance Palmer is the real deal and on his way to getting another $1 million prize.
The only thing that made me mad is, okay, so again, Palmer knocks him down, and instead of knocking him out, he goes to the ground to try to get the finish that way.
Yeah.
I know Palmer's a wrestler and everything, but when your guy doesn't know where he's at, punch him again.
Did you feel that the fight was exciting though?
Not in the third round. It wasn't. Did you think it was exciting in the third?
Lance Palmer's a pretty exciting guy to watch, at least from the fights that I've watched him.
No, I'm one of those guys that once I see us going to the judges, I'm like, I get mad. Like, oh,
finish the fight.
Yeah,
to the death.
especially when we had some KOs, some TKOs.
It was good.
A couple Oreos.
Next event, when is that? I think next week we'll be talking about. Yeah, next week
June
we'll be talking
6th.
about. We got PFL, we got UFC, we got Bellator.
That's gonna be. We're gonna be on planes. We'll be on planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh man, it's gonna be some craziness. Yeah. So excited for that.
Where's your hands? Between 2 pillows. Those are 2 pillows.
UFC Fight Night Dos Anjos versus Lee. UFC Fight Night 152. UFC Fight Night on ESPN Plus 10. UFC Fight Night Rochester.
This was
all one event.
Even though we're not going to get right to that fight, this fight has left a man questioning himself. Really?
Happened last weekend. If you had the ESPN Plus, which you should have ESPN Plus if you watched the last pay-per-view, or if you're one of the 100,000 people that didn't buy the pay-per-view because you're tired of this double wall pay bullshit.
I don't know, but I'm also finding out that you only have a limited amount of gigabytes that you can get from Xfinity.
Yeah.
I mean, I have yet to come even close to it, but I just realized it.
That you're capped.
Yeah, you're capped at 1,058 gigabytes.
So once you use it, not watching the fights.
No, I don't know. Well, I got to start watching everybody. How many gigabytes do you use a day?
Yeah, just shut them off. You do nothing.
I can do that.
I know.
Yeah. Like, you reached your limit. I'm sorry, kid. No more Sesame Street.
Start off at the bottom there. Julio Arce over Julian Arosa. Head kick. Way to start off the card. Zach Cummins defeated Trevor Giles. Ed Herman over Patrick Cummins. Where does Patrick Cummins go from here?
Yeah, he was looking good till he went out.
Everybody's looking good until they get punched in the face. He's now on a 3-fight losing streak. Patrick Cummins, former barista, came in to fight.
He could be
Daniel
going
Cormier
back to
when he was
barista-ing.
4-1 back in the day. Is not been looking good lately.
No.
Grant Dawson over Michael Trezano. Michael Pereira over Danny Roberts. Desmond Green over Charles Jourdain. Aspen Ladd gets the win over Sahara Eubanks.
Out of up north.
How did you were you excited about that fight?
And again, you just see when people have the ability
to the death
to finish a fight and decide to let it go for one reason or another. So, I mean, you can see it. Look, 30-26. Mm-hmm. So...
That's a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
Pretty good gap. Davi Ramos over Austin Hubbard. Charles Oliveira over Nick Lentz.
I don't know why they made that fight. I felt bad for Nick Lentz.
Why?
Do you think that was a fair fight to put him up against Oliveira? I know he made it into the second round.
He was on a little resurgence, wasn't he? Yeah, he just beat Gray Maynard and Scott Holtzman. That's pretty nice.
Gray Maynard's what, 85 and
come on.
11? Isn't he?
He's got so many fights.
Yeah.
Let's look up Gray Maynard's record real quick.
He's 29-9-2.
He has 22 fights total. He is 13-7.
Well, I thought they just showed his record.
1-1.
Okay.
No, Nick Lentz was the one who was 29.
Oh, okay.
That Nick Lentz is now 30-10-2.
All right.
With one no contest. Anyway, moving on from there, we had
always calling me out of my numbers.
Vincent Luke over Derek Krantz. Felicia Spencer over Megan Anderson.
Okay.
Did not see that coming.
Nobody saw that coming, especially Megan Anderson.
Man.
So does this officially mean that Megan Anderson sucks?
I wouldn't go that far, but is she UFC caliber? Does she go back to Invicta? I mean, she was killing people in Invicta.
Oh, I forgot the Kat Zingano fight.
Yeah, she got that cat. Well, it was the eye injury.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that run
Yeah,
back.
that needs to be ran back.
Anyway, moving on from there, Ian Heinz over Antonio Carlos Jr. and your main event, Rafael Dos Anjos, old two hands, as Joey would say, defeated. Dos chains. Defeated Kevin Lee submission arm triangle in round 4. Kevin Lee, in my opinion, got dominated the entire fight.
Oh, even in his opinion, he's the man. I'm telling you, he is sitting right now somewhere, still questioning himself.
Like,
he's down in the dumps.
He was Mr. I'm the greatest welterweight of all time.
No, that was Woodley. No,
they both said it. They both said it.
Okay.
Yeah. So where does Lee go from here? I've been saying on this podcast now for every time. I thought he was overrated and he doesn't deserve some of the clout and the fights that he was getting. I thought he was not as good as he thought he was. Rafael Dos Anjos has been in there for a long time. He has definitely rebuilt himself. There was a time when Rafael Dos Anjos was on a little bit of a downswing. I mean, he's definitely a heavy hitter. He's definitely a guy who has good jiu-jitsu. But, yeah, those are the ones that I was a little disappointed. He lost there to Eddie Alvarez, lost there to Tony Ferguson. Came back, was doing pretty good. It beat that Robbie Lawler fight, man. I did not see that coming. Turns around and loses to Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington. But now he's got that win. I don't know where he goes from here. I think he's definitely still put up there in the top. Definitely top 10. I'd say top 8.
Okay.
Top 5 maybe.
Yeah.
For Rafael Dos Anjos. Kevin Lee, I don't know where you go from here, man. I don't. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be cut from the UFC. I just don't see him taking big caliber fights like this anytime soon.
See, like you're saying, he's the one. Him and God, who's the Bruce Leroy?
Yep.
These are two guys that. While everybody's saying they're not the fighter that they believe, these are two guys I believe could be way better fighters. They got to go to they need to get to a gym to bring the diamond.
I feel like that's what Rafael Dos Anjos is at least doing. He has switched weights. I mean, we talk about,
but Kevin Lee.
Yeah. Kevin Lee he's got rough edges for sure.
Right.
And
I think that he needs to find somebody to make him a better fighter.
Okay.
He has the ability. Him and Bruce Leroy, they both have the ability. They just need to get to a gym where somebody can utilize their strong points and put a game plan together for them.
Yeah, so again, that was your fight for the weekend. We have no fights this weekend. Again, sad day for MMA, sad day for the show where we don't have any fights to talk about.
Not really, because
I
could just barbecue and I don't have to pay attention to nothing. I mean, I'll still be looking at Twitter for stupid stuff that people are saying.
Do you think they do this for Memorial Day weekend? They're like, no one's going to watch the fights if we do a fight.
Well, yeah. Well, I think the big thing is getting people places, because I don't know if you've seen the flight map today.
Yep.
There's a record amount of people flying and traveling today, and I think it's probably is a logistics nightmare. And plus, like you say, it's a Memorial weekend, but you would have to fly people in last weekend, and then trying to get people out of wherever they're fighting on Saturday night or Sunday
might be a little rough.
It'd be a hectic, yeah.
So that is it for your news. That is it for your recaps. We will have more for you next week. As always, we coming out of you from the SinCal studios here in Modesto, California, in the SinCal Industries building. Tattoos, piercings, vinyl stickers, t-shirts, body jewelry, all the good stuff you can get here in the 209 here in Modesto, California. And as always, make sure you check out mymmanews.com. We do this only once a week. They do this every day. Make sure you're following them on Twitter, My MMA News. On Twitter, they are breaking stories left and right.
Right there. There they are.
And then make sure you're checking out Walkie Craft for all your cool bottle opening metal craft needs. Get yourself a man card. Make sure you head over to Shirtsicle, just like Ashley Evans Smith did over here. Pick yourself up a Fight Night and Chill shirt. You can get yourself an SD OG shirt. And of course, you can get our Pride Style shirt. That's shirtsicle.com/SDMMA. As well as
Dependable Solutions. If you do credit card business online or if you do credit card business in your shop, find Dependable Solutions on the internet at dependable-solutions.net. MLS number 1395996.
And that's it. That's your show. You have a good night. We will see you at the fights.
Maybe. We just said that. I can't believe you fell for it. There's no fight. There's no fight.